And when you're anointed for a specific purpose, and you're not functioning in that purpose, the Lord will just use somebody else to achieve his purpose. You have to understand that God is no respecter of persons. No. When we look at the anointing oil, it was so precious that when God gave Moses instructions about anointing oil, not any and anybody could hold the vessel that carried the anointing oil. It was so precious. How are we keeping our anointing oil? How precious is your anointing to you? And what happens a lot in a bishop? See, especially, I grew up in church. And for a long time, I relied on the anointing of my parents. But you're going to get to a point where you're going to need your own anointing. Because when the enemy comes in like a flood, he's not going to wait on you to go get somebody else's anointing. The Spirit of the Lord has to lift up a standard. But if you are not carrying the Spirit and you don't have no anointing, when the enemy comes in like a flood, what happens to you? Turn to your neighbor and say, hold on to your anointing. We are in the days where, we are so distracted, and I'm preaching to myself, by everything that's happening in your life. You're trying to work, and you're trying to make a living, and you're trying to do. But if we don't pay attention, we don't recognize how seriously in the last days we are. And everybody in this assembly functions as one of the 10 virgins. Every person in here is one of the 10 virgins. What you now have to ask yourself, are you that virgin that your lamp is filled with oil? Or are you the virgin where your lamp is empty?